I saw a drink that had grenadine on the bottom, like a vodka lemonade, and then like a blue vodka lemonade up top, and it was like a little red, white, and blue thing. I was maybe thinking about trying to figure something like that out.
I've seen drinks like that before, and that exact same color scheme. I wonder
exactly.
if that is something.
You throw it up in reverse.
So I've seen a lot of people drinking this like canned stuff called liquid death. What the fuck is that? Just
I know
water?
the story behind that.
It's just water.
It's just water.
You are correct.
There was a guy in the late 90s or early 2000s
Jerry's sickened.
who was
Yeah,
going...
I am fucking sickened, dude. Like they sell that shit at the cap ends of like liquor aisles. Like, you know what? Some poor kid could make a fucking mistake. Just go home.
Some
go
kid's
back
trying
to his
to buy
friends
beer.
with water.
That's
Guess
what it
he's
was
got
like.
delayed that night.
He was going to a lot of like music festivals and stuff, and he was noticing a lot of people drinking energy drinks, and there was so many of them like Monster and Tiger and whatever and blah blah blah, and he's like, I just want water, but I don't want to look like a pussy, so I'm gonna create a water in a can that looks like it's hardcore, and he came up with Liquid Death.
There you go.
So it's water in a can, but it just looks like you can drink it and have a good time at a show with all the other
exact
motherfuckers
opposite.
drinking.
The exact opposite of what water is.
Yeah. But you don't look like a pussy, but you're drinking water.
I think this brings us right to the 4th of July episode of Rabbit Troop Sucks, where explosions in the sky are happening. And listen to me, brother. Someone's going to put you in the ring, brother. And you're going to have to fight, brother, because your brother just got laid up. That brings us to No Holds Barred, 1989. You know, hell of a ride, 1989. We started with The Burbs. We went to Batman, and here we are with No Holds Barred. 1989 was like a buffet, and it was a choose-your-own-adventure buffet, and you didn't know what you were going to get. Sometimes you got Batman, sometimes you got The Burbs, sometimes you're coming off a writer's strike, sometimes you got No Holds Barred, brother. So, welcome to this magical 4th of July episode, Rabbit Troop Sucks. We are a podcast about obscure, forgotten about, and often overlooked films that include fireworks, explosions, and just joy.
Men explode later.
Yeah, men, quote unquote, these men are going to explode. Lot of things said here, brother. 1989, No Holds Barred. Yeah, as always, I am Paul, and next to me is Mike.
Brother.
We wanted you to give Zeus. We got Lamar.
Brother.
Jeremy.
Dookie.
And Collin.
I find that a little hard to swallow, you jockass.
Fucking jockass.
Bunch of jockasses just coming at you. So, you know, I often note a lot of times, you know, because Mike and I are choosing these movies, and not to say you guys aren't, but with a non-accusatory way of asking this, Lamar, why this one? Why choose No Holds Barred in 1989?
1989, like you said, was a great year. It was a magical year. We reviewed The Burbs, so we knew what Tom Hanks was doing. And last week, we reviewed, what did we review last week?
Batman.
So we know what Michael Keaton was doing. Mm-hmm. But what was Hulk Hogan doing during 1989?
Cocaine.
And
I believe that.
as a young wrestling fan, I had no idea, because he was not doing wrestling. He was off filming this movie.
Brother.
And I chose it because
Our Hulk Hogan is in a fucking all-white suit, in that suit.
that suit. I can't wait to bring that up. I chose this movie because it's nostalgic to me, and it is not awesome at all.
This movie is amazing.
Yeah.
So our friend Rami, who has been on the show, I do want to give an acknowledgement, especially with this movie. Would it be more fun to watch in a group? Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
This movie was designed to be watched in a group setting. Maybe some people are having a couple drinks. If you're not having a couple drinks, then you're just like chilling out,
doing bumps of cocaine,
brother. Watch it as a group. But if you don't have a group to watch it with, I mean, listen to our podcast and then just load it up. But yeah, Lamar, I mean, did you see this movie in the 89, early 90s?
I had to, because I was a huge wrestling fan back then. I still am today. Early 80s, I just was a huge wrestling fan. I saw it on TV, and I just grew up and I loved it. As far as a Hulk Hogan fan, Not so much. I was a fan of other wrestlers, but he was the main guy. And if you're going to be a wrestling fan, you have to follow the main guy. And at this time, when I noticed that he was doing a movie, I had some other friends. Shout out to Freddie and Chico. If you guys are out there.
Right as Freddie and Chico.
I grew up with those guys. They were wrestling fans too. We went out and we saw this opening. I can't say opening day, not like Batman, but it was opening weekend, I believe, at the Colorado Cinema 6 off of Colorado Boulevard in Alameda. Just a great theater. And I mentioned that theater back in we reviewed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I saw that movie there as well. So that theater just has a lot of nostalgic just feels for me, especially with a lot of the movies that we're reviewing. Whether they're good or bad, this movie is just not good at all. I'll tell you that right now. That's a spoiler. We're going to get
Lamar's
into it.
wrong. This movie's good.
Fantastic.
It was a magical moment for me to see this movie. And it was the first time I was a wrestling fan, and there's a wrestler in a movie. This was big time for me. So just going back in time and just remembering it. And I got to say, as we go through this review, this movie opened the door for a lot of wrestlers to get into movies.
Yeah, I want to kind of know something you said. You were like, I'm not really a Hulk Hogan fan. Like at the time, I totally understand that. So my brother kind of like...
You're who?
My brother.
Brother.
was watching... I would say like a lot of 80s wrestling. I think that was like the WWF, like golden age of wrestling. So I'd
Like
watch
Vince McMahon.
Yeah, so I'd watch some of that with him, and I agree that I wouldn't gravitate towards Hulk Hogan, but I feel if Hulk Hogan was involved with something, that's more what I gravitated towards, because then you had kind of more of like the A-list of wrestlers that I at least knew. Like I knew like definitely a handful, but I wasn't like, I totally later liked, Macho Man Randy Savage. There's always like Jake the Snake, the Iron Sheik. Who do we get to begin with in this? Who's the commentator that we got?
Jesse
yeah,
Ventura.
Yeah, Jesse Ventura. Yeah,
Wearing like Cleopatra braids for some
yeah,
reason.
and then throwing like Andre the
He's the fucking governor of Minnesota.
That's insane. Yeah, so throw in Andre the Giant, and you've got like my classic crew.
I'm glad
King Kong Bundy, people like that.
I'm glad you mentioned all these names. These are names that hit hard for me, Paul. I think if you grew up a bigger wrestling fan, we would have been, and if we lived closer,
I always enjoyed it. Like, I would watch it because, my brother and his friends liked it, and then I got to see some of it. And that watching in a group setting is like just like Rabbit Troop Sucks. Like, you would totally have fun with it. People were laughing and cheering. Yeah, it was totally fun, and I just didn't really see much of it later on in life. But yeah, like that golden age, I mean, they had action figures. There was an animated series about the WWF. It was like Hulk Hogan and something. I think it's all on like Peacock, and there's like a wrestling channel.
Absolutely. They referred to it as the rock and roll era,
Nice.
and wrestling was kind of dead up until, I want to say 1984 was the magical year that Vince McMahon, who was a promoter in WWE, made the push and got all these wrestlers. I briefly talked about this when I was talking about Roddy Piper when we did
I loved Roddy Piper.
Hell Comes to Frogtown review. He came around the same time Hogan did. He was the heel. Hogan was obviously the...
I mean, weren't they
face.
pinned together like in several WrestleManias?
Yes.
I watched one of those WrestleManias.
The very first WrestleMania, they had a match, and they had several matches beyond, but as you can see, both of them went into Hollywood, and one was very... Well, the debate is out as to whether the quality of the movie was the winner or the amount of movies was the winner, because Hogan did 100 movies.
Roddy wins that, man.
Roddy did quality, yes.
Live, and that is a great movie.
Roddy's...
Hogan, this movie's okay. I mean, it is what it is, but, and I have, like, I can't say I dislike this movie, but yeah, They Live was great.
Let me throw out a couple Hulk Hogan films that are really going to shine a light on this. Suburban Commando, 1991.
Yeah, you're literally shining a light on this, as I just wanted to make that the note.
Small writing. Christopher Lloyd's in this. Lamar just noted he did not see this movie, and I am willing to watch this. And then we get really to Thunder in Paradise, the TV show, and films, plural. Good God. And two really notable cameos, though. Like, and I'm saying this in sincerity about Hulk Hogan. One is really silly. It's Gremlins 2. If anyone remembers this, the Gremlins are toying with the movie projector, and it breaks, and Hulk Hogan's like, "You better put that back on, brother," or something. And even the Gremlins are, "Whoa, whoops," and they put it on.
Not your brother.
But his real, like, more sincere, kind of big cameo, Rocky 3. He is, he's fighting Rocky. So I do feel there's something to be said, kind of back and forth on who this guy is, at least.
I think from a career aspect, Hogan is fucking until The Rock came along. Hogan was like, from a career aspect, from making money off wrestling.
That's what I was gonna say, Jeremy. Like, this guy's got like a huge career. He's always gonna be known as like this legendary wrestler. But I'm gonna gravitate towards a Roddy Piper film any given day of the year. I totally agree with you. They Live, Hell Comes to Frogtown. Mike and I watched this movie where a bunch of people are hunting an alien, and he has a cameo as like a priest. It is amazing. There was a movie that he was slated to be in. I kept joking with Lamar for years because I love Roddy Piper, and it was like right before he died. I was looking up on IMDb, like, what is he supposed to be in? Then he died. These movies were canceled. He was supposed to be in a movie called Medusa, but I just remember on IMDb, and Lamar, I don't know if you remember this, the premise was the real life story of Medusa. That's all it said.
I remember you telling me about this,
like,
yes.
And only like Roddy Piper and one other person were slated to be in it. I was like, what the hell?
If they want to roll with that, they could have rolled with that.
Yeah, I was excited, but unfortunately Roddy Piper died. But yeah, we have other deaths in there too. We have Tiny Lister. I'm going to reference as the president of Earth because he was from The Fifth Element. But yeah, this movie. Oh wait, Jeremy, let's backtrack. I have two things to note. We have two more damn people from City Slickers. Last time on Batman, I was like, hey, we got a couple people from City Slickers. We got two more people from City Slickers in this damn movie. We got one of the brothers, Barry and Ira, one of the ice cream brothers. We also have the doctor who brings his son, and he's much older. He's the trainer in this film. And Jeremy, if you didn't know this, we have a huge supernatural connection to this movie.
We have Satan.
Yeah, we have Satan. Kurt Fuller, who's the other guy, is one of the archangels, and the writer of this film directed numerous supernaturals. I have to shine a light on this again. It was a bunch. It was, oh no.
Has Kurt Fuller ever played a person that you don't hate?
He's one of those actors
No, that's
that
what he is.
plays like a douchebag perfectly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This is written by Dennis Hacken. It was the director. It was Thomas J. Wright. He was the second unit on Howard the Duck, also willing to do this, which seems like a demotion because he was also second unit on Beverly Hills Cop 2 years previous in '84. But he directed 18 episodes of Supernatural in this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you feel a shift in the direction of when you're watching? I've never seen the show, but I know Paul and Mike, I know you guys are big watchers.
And
Jeremy, you're into the Supernatural too, huh?
Yeah, I've seen all 12 seasons. I love that show.
Can you feel a certain shift in episodes? Like you can tell who directs and writes it?
Oh, yeah. Like the first handful of seasons of Supernatural are very X-Files heavy. You have X-Files writers, X-Files cameos. I mean, there's a huge...
And then
X-Files
it gets almost
world.
soap opera-y
at
the end, but I can't say that I disliked it, but there is a definite shift, yeah.
Yeah, like the first 5 seasons are pretty much gold, and then it's like episode to episode is like some are good, some are not, some are soap opera-y. You could tell they try. I mean, what are you going to do? You just wrote like hundreds of episodes. Like, I really don't know what else. I wish they would bring back that show in some capacity where there'd be like a 6-episode miniseries, and it could just be like, these are missions that they did before the end of the show, or something else happened. I always thought it'd be a super awesome video game, especially both of those dudes did voice acting. I don't know. Yeah, I'd play that game. Brother.
Brother!
Yeah, this movie, I mean, to bring it back, though, yeah, lots of people involved as supernatural in this. This whole movie is crazy. My first note is, like, what did you say, Lamar, was supposed to be Lionsgate? But it's WWE Studios. I was like, oh, my God.
That was New Line Cinema.
New Line Cinema.
I think they were responsible for this movie getting released in theaters, and that was it. And
they were distributing it, yes.
Yeah.
New Line Cinema did. But Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon produced this on their own, the two of them, using like their own funds. And then Kind of like what what's his name? The Francis Ford Coppola did with this new movie he's got coming out. He like produced it, but he has no distributor for it.
Francis Ford Coppola's got something new coming out.
Yeah, the Metropolis or whatever it's called.
Yeah, interesting.
Megaopolis, yeah.
As a avid listener to a lot of wrestlers' shoot stories and interviews, it's pretty much just interviews with wrestlers after the fact. They go on the interview circuit and they tell the truth about what's going on in the business and what they did behind the movies and whatnot. Hogan did an interview with, I can't remember who it was, but he let it loose that the writer, Dennis Hacken, he wrote this movie and he produced a script to Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan because Vince McMahon had to sign off on it. Hulk Hogan was his talent. He wasn't going to let him do this movie unless he had to see the script. And Dennis Hacken handed him the script, and Vince and Hogan, they didn't like it, and they wanted to rewrite it. So apparently Hogan, he told this story on, I think it was Joe Rogan. He and Vince, and this is according to wrestling lore too, they went into a hotel room for 72 hours and rewrote this script and produced this movie.
I believe that.
I would love to know this
and I wanted to mention that to you guys before we watch this movie, but I just want you guys to watch this movie, and then I wanted to mention that fact to you, that Vince McMahon himself, and it's kind of hard to describe Vince McMahon's humor unless you watch wrestling and you know this. He's a man with a child's brain. He loves you have to be that if you're going to be a wrestling promoter. He has toilet humor on the brain at all times. It is evident through this movie, and you guys know the points that I'll point them out when we go through. He's just an immature child, and based off what the headlines are going right now, I don't know if you guys in the room know the headlines with Vince McMahon. I think listeners would know. All you have to do is Google his name and see that he's all about getting into lawsuits right now. It's really dark, and it really puts this movie into perspective, watching it again and knowing that his hands are on it, him and Hogan writing it. Years later, it just hits different. It's a whole different movie for me, and I want to just mention that as we watch this again. It still is terrible.
Everything you're saying is adding to the amazingness of this film.
And while they were doing this rewrite, it was apparently a coke bender.
I mean, I thought that was implied by hotel room 70-something.
Hogan has confirmed that. Vince has not, but I can totally believe that. 72 hours of coke and rewriting this script for this movie.
They probably just wrote the script in like 2 hours and then just did coke for another 70. And they were like, did we write it? I don't know.
I think that's exactly how it turned out.
I mean, the script does not seem difficult.
It doesn't. I think they were going for a Rocky vibe, and they're just like, well, let's just do this instead of that.
It was probably just like Hulk trying to like act in front of him, like, I'm going to do this, brother. And I'm going to do this. And like, fantastic. That's gonna work. This movie enters Hulk Hogan. Rip enters, Hulkmania. Happy 4th of July, everybody. May God have mercy on your soul. We see Hulk Hogan as Rip coming in. Fan freaking favorite. This guy is beloved in the crowd. People are going bananas. He rips off his shirt, trademark move as Hulk, but as Rip in this movie. Rip him. That's his shirt. And
Rip him, baby.
And the jacket. We all need to pitch in to get Mike later. That sweet teal jacket.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
With the penis on the back of it.
Yeah. That's going to show him that you could rip it.
Yeah.
No, I think we should get Mike the Hulk Hogan sleepwear.
Sure.
Jeremy, do you think that's not what I already sleep in?
Yeah. During this, we get some commentators. We get Jesse Ventura, as I was noting before. He is wearing I'm going to say, kind of a chic's
It's like
garb,
like a Rick James wig.
You guys were shocked, but this is like the most tame I have ever seen Jesse Ventura. I've seen more outlandish attire on this man.
Yeah, he's commentating as Rip immediately gets put into a sleeper hold, and you think he's just going to be knocked out of whatever's happening. We get to meet Kurt Fuller, who is Brell. He's with a bunch of cronies and office goons, and he's like, oh, you might lose the big star. Like, this might just take care of itself. And we, the audience, are left wondering, I don't really know what you're talking about, but you look like an asshole, and you always play one. I feel kind of bad for the actor. I don't mean that about the actor in any which way, but he always plays that guy.
That means he's doing a good job.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then hulks out. Oh, I'm sorry, Rip hulks out. He gets the eye bulge, and he's possessed by Satan himself. He then just beats the hell out of this guy. The end.
I love the faces that are made in this movie.
There's a lot of
so
them.
many of them.
Yeah,
constant grunting.
Treasures.
So many zoom ups on the eyes. I love it.
So, Jeremy, I often think what are we going to do for Christmas? You have a framed picture behind you that we did last year. Maybe we get Jeremy a bunch of these freeze-framed Hulk faces, and we just put them on Jeremy and his wife's bedroom ceiling.
There you go.
You can get custom a quilt made out of
the
it.
gift that keeps on giving, guys.
I said as we were watching this that somewhere out there's a Japanese sex doll about Hulk Hogan. I feel very confident about that.
I feel very, very confident about it. I could probably confirm that. I won't.
You seem too confident. That I didn't like that last part.
You know what? The Japanese really love Hulk Hogan, especially back in the day. I mean, he did a tour over there.
That last one kind of was highlighting you might have one at home.
No. I was a Hulk fan, but not that much.
What were you going to say something?
I was going to say you could make a quilt out of all of the ripped shirts that you...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Or you could get really fancy. You could carve out part of a tree, and then you put in those shirts, and then you lacquer over it. And I've seen people make guitar bodies or end tables out of that.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You just have a Hulk shirt guitar. That's all that you've ever wanted.
That's nuts. Let's not go too far over.
So,
Come on.
well, so this is funny that you're telling me that they hammered out this script and stuff, because I have some real pertinent questions to ask about this.
I bet you do after you've seen it.
Yeah. Okay. So we see that Hulk Hogan wins. He plays Rip. You see his brother Randy, who's
Lucifer.
Brother.
No,
brother.
Damn it. That's what I'm looking for. Thank you.
Brother.
His brother.
His brother Randy. Randy, who's Lucifer in Supernatural. Mike pointed out, I totally forgot, he's also in Lost. And he plays the evil husband in Dexter as well. He's Rita's husband in Dexter.
He's also a dick in everything.
Yeah, I feel bad for this guy.
Yeah.
So he's there, and he's like, yeah, that's my brother Rip, brother. But then we get Rip getting a limo, and he goes to meet Kurt Fuller, who's Brell. And then Brell's like, hey, dude.
Hey, buddy.
He's like, hey, here are my idiot cronies. One of them is eventually going to work for an ice cream company in City Slickers. Get to know him. And he's like, yeah, I want you to work for my network. I want you to wrestle. And he's like, I don't know about that now. He's like, how about this? I'm totally going to pay. I'm going to just give you a blank check and just fill it in. I want you to be my number one, Mike. You're my number one. My number one guy. And Rip's like, nah.
Yeah.
And here's my question. Why? Why at any point in time...
He's like, I can just fill out this check with any number that I want.
I told everyone in this room, I said, I would say $100 million. I would open with that. He said any number.
What do you want me to do?
right. Mm-hmm. So he passed up, in my mind, on $100 million 80s dollars, which is just infinite money. Like Dr. Evil would explode.
You just get a money printing press delivered to your home.
Yeah, so I don't know why he's saying no. I don't know then where he's getting this money.
Well, so my understanding was he worked for a competing TV studio.
That's what I was getting.
And we don't know which studio that is.
We don't, but that's why Kurt Fuller wanted him to lose.
Yeah.
I think.
Is that because Bullet, what's his name? Jay Bullet or Jim Bullet? Ray Bullet, the guy that he was fighting at the beginning, worked
Steve
for
Bullet.
Ray Bolger's looking out for Ray Bolger.
Steve. No, it's because that first guy, was he not the one that was for this?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I got up to get a Rice Krispie treat, and all of a sudden there's all these holes in these.
Yeah, no way. So you're not gonna have it's not like
why does this evil executive have any interest in wrestling whatsoever? He's like, I want bigger network ratings. Okay.
So I'm going to pay for it.
Don't do wrestling. Like, there's other things that you can do. Like,
only wrestling.
We stick with this.
Yeah, I'm thinking that.
Let me also throw this out. Like, okay, so Hulk Hogan's character Rip doesn't want to be a jerk about this. Like, he's like, I work for another company, and I support them. That Kurt Fuller is offering infinite money. It could just be like, okay, I'm going to buy out your contract. I'll give them like $1 million. They'll be super rich and happy, and I'll take you over. Like, Kurt Fuller, this dude's a total a-hole, but financially, this guy seems to be like, whatever you need, like, I'm going to provide you. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, he literally slaps a blank check down. It's like, fill it in,
like
whatever you want.
Blank check with that little bastard from Family Ties.
If he had a contract with another studio, why wouldn't he just ask him when that contract was up?
Yeah.
That seems like a great part.
True.
This seems like a very odd negotiation. Also, it's worth pointing out that in this universe, wrestling is real.
Yeah.
Right. Also, I, at this moment, told Mike specifically, I said to everyone, but Mike knew I was talking to him. I was like, please, God, someone wear the attire that Hulk Hogan's wearing. And I have Mike's quote that he looks like, this is from Paladin Mike himself, a future ballerina pirate. And that is exactly.
I had to write that down, too. That was good. That was good shit, Mike.
He's wearing a do-rag. He's wearing like weird boots.
A lot of good
he looks
outfits.
like what's that pirate show? Pirates of the Dark Water. He looks like he's from like Pirates of the Dark Water, meets Peter Pan, meets Over the Top Trucking, meets I don't know, God knows what. He's swashbuckled himself way into our hearts. No holds barred, 4th of July. brother, he's in my heart. I don't even know. He put a sleeper hold on Mike's nuts, and Mike loved it, and he's back in 4th of July style.
Like when Hulk Hogan goes to the tailor, is he like, these pants got to get tighter, brother?
I think it's
a wiener, brother.
Is Taylor like a clown or a mime or something?
I'm sorry, what?
He has at least 10 or 12 costume changes, and they're all the most outlandish color combinations of all time.
Well, we all pointed out that he had to have a wardrobe change to see his brother in the hospital.
Right.
Like the costume designer on this movie is like Liberace.
Yes. They get paid on the change.
They get paid on the change, and their like outfit is just a smorgasbord.
Those were the rewrites. Those were the rewrites in the hotel.
They were.
Yeah. Call my tailor and wardrobe designer.
And apparently that 72 hours of coke binging, none of them slept, so I believe that too.
Hello, Tom. It's me, Rip. I mean, the Hulkster. I don't know who I am, brother. But yeah, I know what I do need. I'm going to need 72 outfits, and one of them needs to be fancy, because I'm going to eat French. But I'll talk to you tomorrow, brother.
I need a coke tuxedo.
When I eat escargot, what would my character be wearing? What kind of gloves would he be wearing? Oh, the glove changes.
All of his gloves had little laces on them.
Yes. Well,
you want to get them nice and tight.
Well, he tells Kurt Fuller to piss right off and leaves and all of this. And he is out there with a limo. And the limo driver brings him to a parking garage in the middle of nowhere where a bunch of thugs are going to beat him up.
The limo driver
I'm impressed how Fuller fucking threw all this together in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Well,
he
has a team of thugs
limo
waiting
driver in there.
This.
I think this is the biggest problem that we as society have. We have clearly stereotyped Hulk Hogan as a character. And we've doubted it. This man is a man about town. This man is cultured. Mm-hmm. I told Lamar again, one of my favorite Office quotes, that this man is as comfortable on a motorcycle as he is on Air Force One. Mm-hmm. This man goes to a French restaurant. He's a regular. He is a well-read philanthropist.
He knows the difference between Velvet and Velveteen.
He created Velvet. He is the Chuck Norris of Velvet. He is the Chornor of Velvet. God damn it.
Sure. Plus, he's strong enough that he can kick a car from the inside into switching lanes.
Yeah. So
he beat that car's ass from the inside out.
So we go on a crazy limo ride, and then all of a sudden Hulk Hogan just beats the holy piss out of everyone. Even the limo driver shits himself.
I love how he jumps out of the sunroof.
That was the best scene in this whole movie, I think.
It was.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan explodes out of the limo as the limo driver
like the sunroof had an orgasm, and it was Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
I specifically remember that from the trailer. That was the seller for me. I'm like, oh shit, he's jumping out of a limo roof. I'm in.
Yeah.
And
that was the one.
That's all you need. Yeah.
Just was kind of expecting a microphone to jump up to, and then he'd grab it and start singing along.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah. This really goes nowhere. He just basically leaves.
Yeah, no, he beats them all to hell and walks off.
And then does it just, because like we watched, or at least I watched this on Tubi, where there's like a commercial at this part.
Did it seem like there was a scene you missed?
Yeah, like 5 minutes of the movie were cut out, and they're like, they're not going to miss that.
No. Yeah, then he's just like in a boardroom somewhere meeting some slut.
I love the cuts on this movie. Just like, now you're here, now you're here, now you're here. It just like, move on, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we meet a new character. We meet Samantha. She goes by Sam, and
Samantha and Moore, or whatever the fuck her name was.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm your account executive, and we need to like we need to make sure your image is on brand. And he's like, I don't want to talk about images. And she's like, okay, that's weird. You know what? I'm gonna take you out to dinner. And he gets like super freaked out. And as an audience member, I'm like, what in holy shit
happened?
Is going on?
What is going on right now?
Yeah, none of this makes sense. So Hulk Hogan is all of a sudden, for whatever reason, in a board meeting about himself and his brand, but he doesn't want to talk about it. He just hired someone, apparently. She's mouthing off to him, and he's like, I don't want to hear your crap. This is a super weird dynamic. I'm like, you just hired this person.
I'm guessing he didn't hire her.
He didn't hire her.
I mean, we do learn later that he didn't hire her, but...
Is Samantha, like, is she working for a different network?
She's a
or
plant
she working
by
for
Kurt
that
Fuller.
Well, the twist is she's working for Kurt Fuller.
Right. Okay.
So, but right now, like, his board of executives of whatever has hired her. And it's like, you've got to listen to her, because she's kind of trying to get your brand on par, and you just want to make sure everything's okay. He's like, I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, then why did you even show up to work? They're like, dude, shut.
Why are you here?
Not to read.
He's like, listen, dude, I gotta fucking play with some kids at a basketball arena. Okay, let's go.
It's exactly it. So like, what I kind of read in this was she's talking about like, you know, you're doing great on TV. We can expand your brand, stuff like that. And I kind of thought that what he was trying to get at poorly was that he just the money doesn't matter to him, the exposure doesn't matter to him. It's like the charity work and getting in with the community, like that's what Rip is all about.
Yeah. It's poorly conveyed. It's very poorly.
What I got from this scene was the way it was shot. It was just right into her eyes and his eyes. They are clearly just eye fucking each other and says something.
And the whole scene, Hulk is like, ooh.
Yeah, I didn't hear a word.
Once he gets her, he's like, okay.
I didn't hear a word they said.
With each other.
This scene was just more for, we need to get them to a dinner or to fucking immediately.
She threatens him with a dinner date, dress fancy, and he can't believe it. Mm-hmm. So now they're at a very well-to-do French restaurant. The waiter is a complete dick.
I love this guy.
He's like very snooty, like very stereotypical, what you would imagine, 1980s view of French waiter. Like, oh, ho, ho, I do not talk to you. I talk down to you. That's like the very stereotype we get. And Hulk, I keep saying Hulkster, Rip, he's like, just nodding. And all these people in the background are waving and going around. Clearly people recognize him. Sam is also kind of talking down to him. And then eventually the chef comes out. Collin called it. It's in my notes. And Collin, like right off the bat, is like, I wonder if he's a regular. He is. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Rip. Like, our waiter's very rude, and the waiter's really put off about this. He's a regular, and like the whole, back kitchen's there.
French.
Yeah, everything's great, and that's where you find out, Hulkster's a multicultural dude, man. Like,
yeah, man.
He was in.
You gotta be to wear all white.
I was just gonna say that white tuxedo he wore to be fancy is worth the price of admission for this movie alone.
Yeah.
The wardrobe changes. Whoever is in charge, Liberace, well done.
And it doesn't matter at all. He's a jockass the rest of the movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's just a jockass.
For this moment, he's Monsieur Le Rip. The rest of the movie, jockass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Forgot to mention the harp player playing on the.
Oh yeah.
This restaurant is insane. They got a person playing a harp on a balcony, like it's suspended 50 feet above the entrance, and then it's like lavished and like. It is an extraordinarily expensive looking restaurant.
Then we get a hard cut to some like honky tonk brawl bar, which is just insane. And Kurt Fuller, who's Brell, and his two lackeys are there. And he walks in. Here we go, 4th of July, America. Don't you just love it as people are beating each other and throwing each other through walls and on top of furniture and various other things? We found out he's recruiting. He's going to get some kind of contest to brew in. We don't know exactly what, but he's really put off that Rip said no, but he wants to up the ante with the network. This dude loves brutality. So this is very similar to Running Man style. Like Kurt Fuller definitely just wants to see like people torn apart. Pure carnage. It's fun.
Yeah.
He's a fun guy. He just wants fun for everyone else. He
His
wants
bar
you to
doesn't
enjoy
look
his
fun.
bar.
Yeah.
Fun for everyone.
Like that transition from the Italian restaurant to the low down dirty, and it is filthy.
Yeah.
There's a bathroom scene coming up later. I think it's now actually.
With a trough in the bathroom.
I gotta say, it's probably one of my top 5 terrible bathroom scenes ever.
Yeah, there we go.
That's Bubba.
Oh man.
The dip just dripping down his chin. Ugh.
Yeah.
So many fun facial scenes in this movie.
Yeah, everyone's just like, this is all just super gross. People are like sweating everywhere. There's blood, there's urine, there's people spitting. I mean, this place, you would walk out and you would need to go see a doctor for something.
A perfect place to film a TV show, Paul.
Yeah.
It seems to be. It's a perfect place for a nice meetup. Mm-hmm. For all you online daters out there, whatever bar this is, you go meet up. You see a little wrestling. You get a little beer thrown on you. Whatever you want.
I feel like it would be easy to pick up a partner at this place.
Actually,
I don't think people here are picky.
No, they're not. You got a little guy in a cage above you.
Yeah,
sure.
Throwing peanuts in your beer, whatever it was doing.
You get free snacks, is what you're telling me. That's how you write that on a resume. Free snacks. Cultured vibe. Cultured atmosphere. Free snacks.
Rotating assortment of nuts.
Ample bathroom space.
Yeah, the bathroom was huge. The bathroom was the size of the bar.
Oh, it was a good size
Free
bathroom.
junkyard dog.
Yeah.
Security.
Was there a dog in the bathroom?
There was,
One of those runners.
Are you asking us? Are you asking us like
I
you
remember,
hallucinated?
I was like, is that a fucking dog?
That was the key part of the bathroom. Just pan them around. Yeah,
Yeah.
the executives have to go to the bathroom.
Where that is needed.
Well, Kurt Fuller sees it all, takes it all in. He bribes one of the guys. He's like, take out this guy. I think he gives him basically $100, and the guy does it. And he's like, you know what? I've got this idea. And Collin loves the name. Mike is going to get a jacket that says Rip 'em. Colin's going to get a t-shirt that says Battle of the Tough Guys. Collin looked at me and goes, every time he says this, it sounds stupid. And it does.
It's just so dumb.
It is so dumb. Like, Battle of the Tough Guys, dude. Like, what?
It actually does. Yeah.
So, did you expect, anything different from a coked-up Hulk Hogan and a coked-up Vince McMahon writing the script of this?
I imagine.
What should we call this new TV show? Battle of the Tough Guys?
I just wish they just reached out and got another opinion on it.
Gosh, seriously. It sounds like something like a kid's Nickelodeon show might have in it.
Ah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time someone says it, they should have gotten slime, though. and it basically begins. I mean, immediately we go into it. It's basically 8 people in a ring, and they're just going to beat the holy hell out of one another. And that's why I noted, Kurt Fuller financially is backing all this up. He says, and I do love this note, he goes, you will get this money tax-free, $100,000. And this is 1989. This is a huge,
that's good.
Cash-free? Oh my God. So these huge guys just get in the ring and just beat the holy hell out of one another. Eventually, a huge wall explodes, and we get to meet Zeus.
Like the Kool-Aid Man?
Yeah. Just like the Kool-Aid Man.
He just comes in like the Kool-Aid Man.
It does.
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar to Cloak and Dagger. Sometimes you just got to go through a wall, and this guy does. We get to see Tiny Lister himself, President of Earth. I have a doubt, Mr. President. I don't. Or I don't, Mr. President. It's him himself, and he comes in, and for whatever reason, he's wearing his prison uniform and patch, like he just escaped, but he didn't.
Came here right from prison, bro.
Yeah, he didn't. He just left, and they wouldn't give you the prison garb, so they would probably give you something else.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
They release it, and they're like, "Do you have any other clothes?" Like, no.
Maybe he was tiny. He came in as like a real skinny guy, but in prison he bulked up and like, shit, we don't have anything for you to wear.
That might be the case.
Maybe that's what he was wearing when he got admitted into prison. That wasn't the garb from the prison he got out of. That was from a previous prison.
Maybe he was
He's the Eddie Murphy from 48 Hours, but from an alternate universe. Like, this is what happened to Eddie Murphy.
I was thinking he was a tiny man that got into his body, like in Men in Black. He was just a little alien controlling him this whole time.
That could be.
But for whatever reason, he bows down to Kurt Fuller this whole time. He like always looks at him or kind of agrees with him. Like, I don't know why.
Because he's giving him money, I think.
Right, but like that seems like off-brand from his character. Like, he just seems like he would not do anything, but not like be like, I'm looking for approval.
He needs someone to buy him those belt buckles.
That's true.
We don't know much about his character.
Those weird iron wings at the end.
Yeah, the iron wings.
Yeah, so he comes in and looks at Brell. Brell's like, let him fight. And in 5 seconds, clean shop and gets $100,000. So now Zeus. Well, I'll let Mike introduce Zeus to you, but he gets $100,000 and Kurt Fuller, i.e. Brell's like, who is this man? Zeus.
Was that pretty accurate?
That is very good.
Now, this is what I want you and Collin to individually go home and whisper to your significant others at 2 a.m. Like, how is recording? Zeus.
It didn't work so well last time.
You never followed up on that. You never followed
I couldn't share you what happened.
Okay.
I also like how when Zeus comes into the bar, he immediately picks up the waitress by her face and then just throws her.
Yeah. She's like, you can't be here. Face palmed right to the floor.
It was overhand facepalm style too. I like that.
Yeah, it's super weird. So then we're just really at the next day, and Brell's really all about this. We find out the ratings are super up. Yeah. He's like, I told you. They've even got complaint letters, and he's going off the old adage,
complaint telegrams.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Some little boy was having nightmares, and he's going off the old adage.
In time and got a complaint telegram.
Yeah, he's going off the idea that any press is good press. He's like, see, people are watching, and he's not wrong. Like, he's the #1 rated show, and he's like, we've got to expand this. We're gonna do this, and they basically go right into it again. Where you go to these steel works, and we're gonna fight a dude with a giant lead pipe,
lug wrench.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lug wrench. I mean, these are all the characters that you got to know.
Lug wrench McQueen.
Yeah, this guy's huge. He's fighting with a
lug wrench Perkins.
Lug wrench Perkins. God damn it! I can't believe I wrote that down.
This is televised in 1989. So like, you have a dude swinging a pipe, unsuccessfully, unfortunately, because we get Zeus just beating the holy hell out of him, and even all the iron workers are like, "Oh man, no."
Yeah. This is where we get these men are going to explode.
Yeah, they're doing commentary like, these men are going to explode. A lot of weird innuendos going on here.
Mm-hmm. There is. That's one testament to Vince McMahon's script writing.
So we get to, this is really nice that we're riding the coats of Batman on this one, because as I noted before, and Lamar and I talked about, the Joker and Batman are two sides of the same coin. We kind of see this duality play out. Wrestling bonds these people and fighting, but who are they? Zeus is beating men in steelworks, where Hulk Hogan is just a man about town taking Sam out to the local diner.
Yeah. The fuck were they? They got on a private plane to go to some diner?
Yeah, and this is honestly one of my favorite moments.
Yeah,
so the diner gets robbed, and all of a sudden Hulk Hogan's like, "Get down, brother," and he says to Sam, and then starts throwing a bunch of pies.
He gives all the robbers many cream pies.
Fights robbers off, armed robbers. Each one has their own handgun, and he fights them off by starting a food fight. Like, yeah.
Three Stooges stuff.
What is that?
Yeah.
I love it.
And did this scene serve any purpose?
It served a purpose that he did more damage to this diner than the robbers would have by taking the money. And you need to know that. Good will always prevail.
So, I don't think it would be that outlandish to kind of assume that he more or less set up the robbery overall. He knows everyone in there. He knows the town.
That's true.
I think the whole thing was a setup to try to...
He needed a waitress.
Yeah. I like what I'm hearing.
I'm fucking this broad tonight.
Yeah. Well, she did point out that she had the whole trip planned. He's like, hope you didn't make reservations, brother. Because he wanted to take her to this shitty diner and give those
called ahead of time.
Pies.
Get 40 pies ready for me. Oh my God, why? You'll see, brother. Yeah, this robbery is just like the pie, bananas.
Oh, damn.
Then everyone stands up and claps. Man about town.
Yeah. And then the man that can afford a private plane to go to a diner is staying at like a La Quinta Inn.
Yeah, like the fucking Days Inn.
For some reason, yeah.
Don't you dare disparage La Quinta.
You gotta fucking share a bed. Like, yeah.
All that plane just for that.
Just like shelling out for 2 rooms.
Just like an episode directly out of Who's the Boss. Angela and Tony got to split up the room with tape, and they got to split it up with a blanket.
Fucking shower curtain. Like, he had to engineer something to make that happen.
He's like the MacGyver of hotels. You know, as I said, he knows French. He could MacGyver a room. Anything you need, rip him.
I have to think about this for a second. I think he used Scotch tape to support up 2 blankets in between them.
Well, I mean, first and
3M was doing a hell of a
First and foremost, don't you have some Scotch tape?
Strong enough to support 2
It wouldn't surprise me if he basically had boxing tape, like
That's
for
true.
That's kind of what I guessed it was.
But that still wouldn't be like holding up on walls and blankets. Like, that is not what it's designed for whatsoever. It isn't like duct tape.
Oh shit!
So this scene, I love this scene. Like, what in the fuck did Hulk Hogan change into to go to sleep?
His
like,
little
he changed-
nighty-night pants.
He changed
What
into
is
your
that?
Christmas gift, my friend.
like,
I got a
those
matching
are like-
set for you and your wife.
Yeah, those are Valentine's Day pajamas at like a fucking novelty store.
They're Valentine's Day pajamas for a woman.
I thought they're like torn rags out of Goodwill.
He
I
makes
don't know.
those out of the shirts that he rips off.
I think that's exactly what it looked like, and it's stitched together poorly.
Yeah.
These are terrible.
I need to get a pair.
Oh my god, this hotel room scene, I can't get over it.
Are you talking about when she thinks he's masturbating furiously?
But he's just doing push-ups off the
push-ups,
bed.
yeah.
Off the bed. Like, do you?
Still breathing way too heavy to do a couple
Yeah.
push-ups.
I mean, I think we all got a little treat. We did see the thunder in paradise.
You're talking about when we saw his fucking taint through those pants?
And then he jumps in bed. He ripped off that shirt somewhere down the line. Breaks the bed. She rolls into him. I'm now just one of your fans. You've got a wall around you.
What the fuck,
brother?
What the?
He overreacts.
Everyone's
The whole thing
overreacting.
is
It's super.
I'm gonna
weird.
go sleep in the lobby, brother.
But then I'm mumbling because I'm trying to give you some semblance of the story here. She runs back, and this is where you find the twist. She's been working for Kurt Fuller, Brell the whole time. She's like, this dude's actually really nice. He's like, hey, I've given your company, a lot of money. You're supposed to do this for me. You're supposed to seduce him. And my thought is, like, seduce him to do what? To join? To not?
I think to join.
Okay.
Yeah,
brother.
I mean, intention's unclear. He does bitch slap the shit out of her, though.
Yeah.
Which is always the best way to get what you want.
That's how you get over as a super heel.
Yeah, and she's like, he was a nice guy. Screw this. Runs right back to his mini mansion. Rip's house is dope. Rip's house, we're like, he's straight up is living in a mini mansion. What the hell is
It's
happening?
just a little cottage, you
I
know.
also
you
like
got
how, like the two goon executives that are constantly with this with Fuller,
The teeny
I like
wangers.
how,
Rum raisin? You tell rum raisin?
the teeny wangers.
That's right.
Rum raisin and the boy?
But like these two guys at no point in time are like you can what are we doing?
Right.
Like this nothing
Is
is
this
gonna
okay?
happen.
Are we the Kurt? Are we the bad guys?
Are we the baddies?
Yeah. Oh my god, the teeny wangers.
But this makes Kurt Fuller even more pissed. He's like, we're going to get Rip. We're going to get him in the ring. This bullshit. So at some point in time, they arrange a helicopter to interrupt Rip's charitable event with children. And Zeus comes out and, eyes him down. He's like, oh, I guess you're not as tough. Let's go into the ring. And, Hulk Hogan says nothing. And he's like, there you go.
Okay.
Tiny Lister's the best. So they helicopter off. Hulk Hogan's feeling really upset about this because he's like, everyone thinks I'm not number one, brother. And the trainer, who's the dad in City Slickers, he's like, no, I trained him. That guy's a jackass. Don't worry about it. You know what those kids needed? Exactly what you did today. You stood up to them and you didn't battle. You don't want to just fight people. And then we get Randy, who's Lucifer from Supernatural. He's like, I'm going to go just check out this guy's fights. Let's go to some steelworks. And on the way out, he falls down with his friend, and his friend and him are talking to Kurt Fuller. He's like, oh, we're wearing Rip 'em t-shirts. We're converting even more fans. He's like, we're not fans. We're getting out of here. And as dipshit friend says, we're not fans. That's Rip's brother. And then, he meets Zeus. Zeus knocks him unconscious and maybe paralyzes him. I don't really understand the extent of the damage he's done. Like, I don't know if, Randy could ever walk again. Hulk freaks out, goes to his gym, tears it up.
Yeah. Well, simultaneous to this, Kurt Fuller has hired someone to, I believe, sexually assault the assistant.
Yes.
Well, yeah. This is total simultaneous. So he wants revenge on Sam. Hulk goes to the gym at Zeus's gym and is like, screw this. I agree to fight. This is bullshit. Then Sam gets assaulted.
I only bring this up because I wanted to talk about his sweet motorcycle outfit.
Luckily, Hulkster shows up on a sweet motorcycle with this beautiful satin jacket that says "Rip 'em" on the back that we totally want to get Mike.
Yeah, and some dope cowboy boots. The whole ensemble was amazing.
It
was amazing.
Nice.
And Hulk beats him up. So
yeah, he motorcycles him into a tree.
It worked on the motorcycle,
which is a thing that I can say not very often.
But this outfit only works on the motorcycle, or it works just anywhere. Would you say?
I think you have to change when you get off the motorcycle. I don't think you can pull it off otherwise.
Didn't have enough time to do that change, so he just kicked this guy's ass by throwing him into a tree.
Yeah, so this is super messed up. So you see Kurt Fuller is willing to do all this backdoor shit to like stir up things and make sure he gets his way. It is now announced in 2 weeks, the Battle of the Tough Guys, again, Collin's favorite in terminology, will begin. Zeus immediately starts training. Rip is always by Randy's side. You don't really see any training montages. You just see him being a caring brother. His brother's going through rehabilitation, etc. Then we just immediately cut to the night of. Randy's in a wheelchair. That's why I'm like, I don't know the extent of his damage. His friend's there. The trainer's there. They go to this hotel. The security guards immediately put Sam back into an elevator and take her to a secret room. She is used as blackmail. Kurt Fuller calls Rip and he's like, hey, brother, you're going to go 10 minutes with Zeus and then you're just going to give in. And that's what we're going to do. And if there's going to be a problem, we're going to put Sam in a wheelchair too. And that's basically the threat. Rip is like, we got to find her. And everyone goes to try to find her. I love Sam's escape in all this. All of the security guards and the two cronies that you guys have noted.
The teeny wangers.
Yeah. I call them
they're
Rum
all
Raisin.
watching the fight, man.
Rum Raisin and the
they're
boy.
into it.
Yeah, and they're so into it that Sam just walks out the door.
Yeah,
she does.
Eventually gets to an elevator, goes down. There are simultaneous things happening, so I'll stick with her story. But the fight does begin between Hulk Hogan and Tiny Lister. But I'll get to that in a second. Sam eventually gets down the elevator, and the guys have caught up to them. And it's kind of like a twist. You're like, aha, like she couldn't escape them. They got to the bottom floor. But immediately the trainer and the friends of Hulk Hogan are there. And one of them picks up a fire extinguisher and just beats the shit out of one of the security guards.
As you do.
And they scamper off.
As this is happening, Hulk Hogan and Zeus are fighting. Hulk is getting his ass beat for a little bit because he's like, I don't know what I should do. Should I just get my ass beat and then go down in the fucking after the 10-minute mark? Or
the real problem is like this is like Popeye's scenario. Hulk Hogan really shines once he gets motivated. You've got to do something to him psychologically to get those bulging Hulk eyes, because if not, you're not getting the true Hulkster. And I agree with Jeremy, like he doesn't know what to do, but like in a way, like he's still getting the shit kicked out of him. Like.
Yeah, it didn't look like he was throwing the fight.
Yeah, because
it looked like he was just getting his ass.
Right, because at one point in time, they're like, oh, he got a couple punches in. No, he doesn't.
Well, because Kurt Fuller was like, make it look real, but down in 10 minutes. Yeah. He was making it look like he was really getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah. I think that's the thing. He just was.
Just 10 minutes seems like a really long time.
Yeah.
10 minutes is a long fucking time to fight somebody.
Yeah, there's a scene in Parks and Recreation where Amy Poehler has to blow off some steam. So Rashida Jones, like she's going through a lot. Rashida Jones is like, okay, box into my hands. Go. They got a ring, and they're going and they're talking, and Amy Poehler's like, okay, like how long was that? And Rashida Jones is like, that was 45 seconds. Like Amy Poehler's like drenched in sweat and blood all over. I totally agree. You're going full force for 10 minutes. Like this is a lot. But the Hulk is fighting off, and Rip is doing his best, I guess.
Yeah, he's He's doing his best.
Does whatever.
But you're saying he's not the best around?
No. But the Popeye moment comes when he
sees Sam.
He sees Sam,
and Kurt Fuller freaks the shit out.
Yeah, Kurt
Fuller's my idiot cronies.
Teeny yeah, he's ripping apart his fucking booth, his little AV booth that he's in for some reason.
Well, I have a question now. Thinking about those two cronies, do we ever see him again?
The teeny wangers? No, they got taken up by the fire extinguisher.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
They're dead.
No. They kind of just like scampered off. Like the fire extinguisher went into them, and then I think they dispersed.
Right.
Like, we never see them again.
We don't get paid enough for this shit.
Probably. I mean,
they didn't get that blank check.
They were probably like, dude, we're not going to get any more money because our boss is crazy as hell at this point in time.
At that point in time, you would leave.
He's Scarface cocaine in.
Yeah, he was losing it. But the Hulkster brings it back. He starts.
You can see the eye bulge.
You get the eye bulge. There's a lot of good back and forth. Kind of showdown faces.
Yeah, a lot of sweating.
Oh, so sweaty. They're sweaty guys.
Well,
those sweaty guys.
Rip is just like laying on the mat after getting his ass beat so bad. And Zeus starts rampaging outside of the ring and fucking...
Yeah, he just fucking leaves, kind of.
He curb stomps the brother again. He knocks him out of the chair.
Yeah. So, this is kind of like
a cripple.
Yeah, this is kind of like it's kind of like a fun twist that Hulk Hogan just beats the shit out of him because he got Hulk strength and throws him out of the ring, and this dude is out cold for 1 second.
Yeah.
And then gets back up, and he's scampering.
He starts beating Hulk's brother again.
Yeah, throws his brother out of a wheelchair and then kicks him in the chest. I was like, oh my God. He straight up picks a man up from a stairwell.
Don't do that, brother.
And throws him. Hulk Hogan catches that man and gently puts him down.
It was very nice.
Yeah, it was like a very Green Hulk moment. And then he just runs up and catches him. Eventually they fight a little more, and Hulk Hogan may or may not have killed him. He throws him from a ledge. He does land in the ring that has some buoyancy to it, but now this guy is out cold. But they they zoom into his face, and there is blood coming out of it, and his eyes are closed.
He's going to be okay.
He's got those gauntlets of power. Yeah. Click him 3 times, he's back to life.
He'll be all right.
Well, then Rip turns his attention to Kurt Fuller.
Rip Torn!
Ooh. He throws something to break the window of the little AV booth.
A foldy chair.
Fuck yeah. As one does in wrestling.
Yeah.
And there's, I'm ready for the conflict, but he doesn't have to do anything because Kurt Fuller, grabs some open wires that he just ripped out of all and electrocutes himself.
The Utes of today call it just the flicked.
I see. Fucking Utes. Yeah, so Kurt Fuller's just fucking dead. Rip winks at the camera, and then the movie's over.
Yeah, he gives kind of like a more bent hang loose sign. I don't know really.
I tried to do it. It's hard.
I thought that his whole thing was like a fake symbol, like it was not a real thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what that hand symbol is, but we definitely are graced to a freeze frame, some fake hang loose sign, and brothers out of here. Yeah, before we get to our final reviews on No Holds Barred from 1989, as always, feel free to write us. Feel free to hit us up on social media. rabbittroopsuckspodcast@gmail.com. If there's a movie you'd like us to review, if you have some interesting trivia, or you want those sexy, isolated vocals that I keep telling you about from Mike, I'm going to send them your way. Whatever, just let us know. rabbittroopsuckspodcast@gmail.com. Go to our website proper, rabbittroopsucks.com. We have got pictures, links to merchandise, our episodes stream there. Our episodes stream everywhere. As noted, thanks to all of you YouTube listeners. We've been up on the tubes for a little over a month, but we have been playing everywhere since. And before since the start, and that leads us to next week, where we'll be celebrating our 2-year anniversary, highlighting We've Been Playing Everywhere. As always, we're on Facebook and Instagram. What did you all think about No Holds Barred 1989? Did all of those men explode?
Wow.
If there's more explosions, this might have been a better movie.
Was it exploding, Jeremy?
Yeah, it was.
For listeners at home, you can't see what Paul was doing.
I was doing nothing.
He was doing a special kind of dance.
Yeah.
I have a secret dance.
Dance.
I do have a secret dance that Lamar and Mike have seen over the years. It's called the swashbuckler. And it only comes out once a blue moon.
That's true. It's a very rare occurrence.
Yes. It's a mysterious, shadowy dance.
Yeah. It's kind of adjacent to a particular dance that I have that Paul has dubbed Lancing the Lady. Yeah.
That involved a pool stick.
You need a prop for that. You can't do it. Wow. You can't do it by yourself.
Damn.
No holds barred.
No holds barred.
What did y'all think about No Holds Barred on this very explosive 4th of July celebratory weekend?
I'm gonna start because I recommended this movie. Bars were holded in this movie.
Held the barred, friend.
Despite the fact that it's called No Holds Barred, there were a lot of holes that were barred. This movie's terrible. Listen,
guys.
I picked this movie because it's nostalgic to me. Like I said, as a wrestling fan growing up, this was the era for me. Since 1984, I want to say, is when a young Lamar discovered wrestling. Just a young kid messing around with his UHF dial looking for television. I always had a TV in my room when I was a kid. I always was like looking for TV on it. Like the UHF dial. I don't know why I like fucking around with it, but you can see like the Home Shopping Network on channel 25, or sometimes you move the rabbit ears around and you can get, I've just lost everybody. I feel so old talking about rabbit ears and antennas. This was the early 80s, guys. 1984, 85, 86, messing around with it. One day I discovered wrestling just on like a channel 28 or something on a Sunday morning. And Hulk Hogan, Sergeant Slaughter, Roddy Piper, Andre the Giant, these guys have been in my life forever. And these days, you got your Roman Reigns and John Cena's and whatnot. And going back and looking at it now, Hulk Hogan was the first to punch out and make a big movie with the help of Vince McMahon in a coke-filled hotel room for 72 hours. But they did it, and it paved the way for John Cena, The Rock. There's a connection there. The Rock would not be The Rock if it were not for...
That's true.
I don't want to say not for just this movie, but there's a lot of factors involved. Vince McMahon had a stranglehold on a lot of his wrestlers at the time that he just did not want them to do movies. Hulk Hogan was actually fired from WWE after doing Rocky 3.
Interesting.
He did it. They told him repeatedly, no, he did it. This was his father, Vince McMahon Sr., that fired him. But Vince McMahon Jr. knew better. And it's like, you're a big star. I need to have you back. But if you're going to do movies, we need to do this together. And he gave him the permission to do No Holds Barred. And he did the same thing with The Rock, same thing with John Cena, and down the line. There's other wrestlers who did movies, but you probably never heard of them or seen them, or they just suck.
Andre the Giant in Princess Bride.
He is. That's around the...
It's a national treasure.
80.
What about Batista? Where's he fit into this?
Batista, he chucked out just a niche for his own. He's actually just doing this outside of WWE. He made the decision to actually leave WWE and pursue movies, kind of like The Rock.
Okay.
There's a point in time where you realize, I could be a bigger,
he's the best actor out of all.
I want to agree, and I think a lot of wrestling fans would agree as well. Out of all the wrestlers that break free from wrestling and go do acting, Batista is probably the best out of all of them.
The most versatile.
Yeah, that's very true. I just want to leave this movie review. I don't love this movie. And going back and watching this movie again after so many years, I've seen this movie maybe 3 times, despite the fact how much I gush about it. I didn't like it either time. The first time I saw it, I'm like, whatever. And now I hate this movie.
Jeremy, what do you think about No Holds Barred?
So this movie is not a good movie, but it is a bonkers movie, and by God, you should fucking go out and watch this movie at some point in time, especially with like a group of friends. Get liberations involved, whether it be, liquid liberations, inhaled liberations, up the nose liberations. By God, do it all when you're watching this movie because it'll just add to the excitement. I like this movie, but not because it's a good movie, because it's so fucking bonkers and dumb that it just made it worthwhile for me. Yeah, and I remember watching this when I was a kid. So yeah.
What do you think, Collin?
This did not cross the threshold of so dumb that it was good for me. I mean, like I enjoyed watching it with all of you, but this movie is bad. The only reason this movie is like an hour and a half is because it should be 0 minutes long. Like they're just
Like, what should this movie be? 0 minutes? Well, let's do.
There's not even a 2-minute chunk of this movie that you like. There's no like 4 seconds of chunk of movie you can put together and have anything salvageable.
There was when he jumped out of the limo. That was pretty cool.
Oh yes.
But like Brell as a villain just overreacts constantly.
Yeah.
He gets what he wants supposedly in a huge hit with Zeus and can't just have that.
Yeah.
Like no one does anything that makes any sense. Everyone is kind of dumb in all the wrong ways.
Yeah.
What?
Just the way Craig just gave up Brandy immediately. And yeah, we can revisit this whole movie and do this whole thing again and
watch it again.
We can see someone doing something really fucking stupid. But I mean, it's still super fun to watch. If you were into wrestling, I would still probably watch this and just have a good time with it. But if you are not, then don't.
Even I can't even recommend this for non-wrestling fans. Don't seek this out. I think this is just
Don't listen to these people.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm
go
going.
see it.
This movie is absolutely amazing for all the reasons that people said. I mean, is the story good? Hell no. Does anything make sense? I'm still questioning
Doesn't have
some of the
to.
actions. Yeah, that's the thing. As noted, watching this movie, especially with some friends, just laughing through it, that's the fun of this film. Like, by all means. I totally get where Collin's coming from. Like, should Collin have sought this movie out in the past and, like, totally watched it, like, on his own? I don't think it would have been as fun, but watching this movie just with a group of friends, I mean, the best part of this movie is making fun of this movie and just really having a good time. Mm-hmm. If you like movies like The Running Man, Collin noted early on, like, oh my God, is Rip getting rollerballed from the start? Yes, absolutely, he's getting rollerballed.
He totally is, but it's the rollerball remake for sure.
Yes, and that's the thing. Like, this movie is hilarious. I mean, people are exploding through walls. There's just so many weird things happening. I totally recommend this film, but noting that it's not good in really any way. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, so when we wrapped up the movie, as we were walking downstairs, Collin said, sometimes some holds should be barred. This movie, I've never seen this before, and I'm not a wrestling fan. I'm not anti-wrestling. It's not something I follow.
This is a perspective I'm actually interested in.
I had a blast
Hell
watching
yeah,
this
man.
movie. It was so much fun. If you're like, let's watch this movie again tomorrow night, I would probably be on board for that. Like, I had a great time with this. The plot is incomprehensible. The acting is bonkers, but like, it's so fun. This is right.
This is amazing to hear.
Yeah, Mike,
wow.
I love hearing this. I mean, this is really like kind of like the ethos, like, and the drive behind Rabbit Troop Sucks, that we find these weird gems. Like, again, no, Mike and I are not under some delusion like this should have won an Academy Award. It's just, hey, your friends are coming over. You want to have a couple of drinks? Like, you want a low-key night and have a blast with a movie? It's this. It's totally this.
Yeah. Like, if you're of a certain age, that age being the age that we are.
Or any age. Look at the garb this dude's wearing.
Well, I guess that's what I mean. Like, yeah, somehow I missed this. I've seen other Hulk Hogan stuff.
Was he exploding?
Yeah, I mean, just like these men are about to explode. I was about to explode. Collin may have. Yeah, I don't know. It just like it brought me back to that time, even though like the wrestling wasn't an aspect for me. But man, it was just a lot of fun.
I think
there was a woman playing a harp in the ceiling.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I think based off your review, I think my review is kind of skewed because of my history with wrestling.
You just got to disconnect, man.
Yeah, I feel like if I disconnected more, because I know so much about Hogan and the history of this movie. I watched this movie knowing that Vince McMahon and Hogan locked themselves in a La Quinta for 72 hours.
It was the room from the movie.
It was probably the exact same room.
$30,000 of cocaine.
You need to stop exploding, and you need to start absorbing.
They got the idea because that's what Hulk Hogan did. He put the tape up for him and Vince to sleep on different sides of the bed.
It was based on a true story.
They both had matching PJs.
Oh,
I just wanted to give a shout out to Stan Hansen. He's a famous wrestler. He played Bubba, or the guy with the exuberant hillbilly guy.
You have to be more specific.
Exactly. When they went to the, I want to call it a dive bar, but it wasn't. It was like that really dingy.
Yeah.
The waitress's brother.
The waitress's brother, that guy, the wrestler. Stan Hansen was a really good wrestler.
Brother.
I'm trying to code you into saying brother. No one's fucking biting.
I was talking over him. I didn't give him the chance to get it in, but he got it in. No, Stan Hansen made a cameo in this movie that I thought was pretty good. Not a lot of wrestling cameos in this movie, which was kind of shocking to me.
there's only so much coke to go around.
Exactly.
Was Tiny
Everyone's
Lister
paid.
a wrestler?
Who?
Tiny Lister?
Oh shit! I got some. Well, just a little bit. They actually had a match. They based off this movie. They're like, we're gonna do a match. We're gonna put Hogan together with the Brutus the Barber Beefcake. That's his name.
Fuck, that's a great name.
Against
that guy.
Randy the Macho Man Savage, who just turned a villain, and he's like, I'm gonna enlist your help, Zeus. Help me take down Hogan, because Savage and Hogan were feuding for years, and they had this little match. I believe it was on a Saturday night's main event, which is a wrestling event that often preempts Saturday Night Live. And they had a tag team match that was pretty awful.
I'll bet it was. But like,
So this movie spawned off a real life wrestling event that was fake.
Was Tiny Lister a wrestler?
They tried to bring him in and train him.
Yeah, he only did like 3 matches.
But, like,
didn't
was
he?
that-
He did
Including the one
4
you're talking
matches.
Was that based on this movie, or was he?
Yes, they
What-
brought him in just for
okay,
that.
What was Tiny Lister before? Like, explain
Tiny Lister was
Tiny Lister to me.
I can't explain most of it. I know he was a bodybuilder.
Okay, so
I
he's
have
just like a strong
dude.
man.
Yeah, he's just
I
a
don't
strong
know
man.
how
He's
that
own
man
history.
could wipe his own ass. To be
Not
honest
the way
with
he
you.
was walking in this movie. I don't think he did. He had like one of those posts,
Exactly.
like for cows to scratch themselves, and that's what he.
Everything you're saying is selling me on this film even more.
But there's a real life match based off of this movie, and if you want to trick it out, go and see it.
I'll bet you can find it on YouTube.
Lamar, I would say in this, worry not. We will definitely revisit some kind of wrestling film in some capacity with some of these characters. We have to. You're a wealth of knowledge in all of this.
like
and-
Nacho Libre.
And this movie,
Ooh, that's a good one.
and this movie was just amazing. This brings us to next week. We will be celebrating our 2nd anniversary. So as always, thanks for listening to us. Thanks for listening to 100 plus episodes and all this. We've just had a lot of fun with all the things we've done. Thanks for, suggesting films, writing us online, etc. Next week, to celebrate this, we're going to look at a film that we highly recommend. We definitely have all seen this film in our group, and we want you to watch it. We're going to look from 1985, Clue. And they're remaking
You
this
better
film.
goddamn well watch this. If
Yeah.
you're listening to this, watch Clue.
Such a fantastic film. An amazing cast.
Oh yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, that's why we're noting it. That is just close to 40 years of age. And they're remaking this film. So watch this original, see these amazing people. But yeah, anything anyone wants to shout out to a brother or happy 4th of July, let the fireworks rain down upon ye. You'll be hearing this slightly after. Mike, you have an announcement about this.
About what?
That this will air the day after 4th of July.
Yeah.
And then
Oh shit! Okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm not thinking 4-dimensionally. Yeah, the day after this airs, Saturday the 6th of July, 2024, at the Skylark. Come see my band, the Picture Tour.
Yeah, and
All right.
Mike encourages during the set, yell any no holds barred quotes that you can remember.
Yeah.
Anything.
Men will be exploding.
I'm just gonna sit in the audience and yell that over and over.
I would, if you guarantee that you'll do that, I will pay for your plane ticket.
As always, Rabbit Troop sucks.
Zeus.